Did you know that a single $10,000 investment into the S&P 500 10 years ago while only reinvesting your dividends would now be worth $34,077.47?
No, but I do now.
Did you also know that you would be in the top 13% of all investors had you just stuck with that simple strategy?
So, why are you here?
Both of those stats are amazing, but in this series, I share with you stocks that have blown those numbers out of the water and could continue to do so well into the future.
You have my undivided attention.
Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. My name is Troy, and congratulations, you just found the only weekly stock list you're ever going to need as a dividend investor. This series will go live right here on the channel every Friday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time and does feature some time-sensitive information. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you're subscribed, and if you want to show your support, do so for free by clicking that like button. Now let's go right ahead and dive right into this week's list with number 5, the Ensign Group, stock ticker ENSG. This is now the 4th time I mentioned this stock right here on the channel, and if you go all the way back to the very first time I spoke about it on September 23rd of 2022, ENSG is outperforming the S&P 500, so let's go ahead and get a look at the numbers behind this stock. ENSG is a quarterly payer in the healthcare sector, paying 24 cents per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 0.16%. ENSG has been paying and growing their dividend over the past 17 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 4.61%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 4.85%, and a payout ratio of just 3.96%. At the time of recording, the Ensign Group was trading 2.63% off of its 52-week high. It has an ex-dividend date of September 30th with a payout date of October 31st. And looking at this chart, you're going to be able to see the growth of a $10,000 investment while only reinvesting your dividends into this stock versus the S&P 500. ENSG would have turned into $98,073.32, which outperformed the S&P 500 by $63,995.85. Next up, coming in at number 4 on this week's list is First Service, stock ticker FSV. This is the very first time I'm bringing this stock here to you guys on the channel, so let's go ahead and look at the numbers behind this one. FSV is a quarterly payer in the real estate sector, paying $1 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 0.55%. FSV has been paying and growing their dividend over the past 9 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 19.97%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 16.06%, and a payout ratio of 18.17%. Now, at the time of recording, First Service was trading 1.02% off of its 52-week high. It has an ex-dividend date of September 30th with a payout date of October 7th. And looking at this chart, you can see that over the past 9.31 years, FSV would have turned a $10,000 investment into $69,068.49, which outperforms the S&P by $37,273.44. Bringing home the bronze medal, coming in at number 3 on this week's list is TFI International, stock ticker TFII. This is now the 2nd time mentioning this stock here on the channel, and if you go all the way back to the first time I mentioned it on September 22nd of 2023, TFII has actually underperformed the S&P 500, but the numbers behind this stock still get me really excited, and I want to show you why. TFII is a quarterly payer in the industrial sector, paying $1.60 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 1.08%. TFII has been paying and growing their dividend over the past 9 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 30.31%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 22.79%, and a payout ratio of just 24.88%. Now, at the time of recording, TFI International was actually trading 10.35% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of September 30th with a payout date of October 15th. And looking at this chart, over the past 10 years, TFII would have turned $10,000 into $73,868.87, which outperformed the S&P by $39,791.40. Quick reminder before we get to the rest of the list, if you guys can make sure you guys left a like on this video, as it helps me continue to grow my channel, and I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Let me know if you guys own any of these stocks and how they're doing for you, and if you don't own any of them, which ones piqued your interest the most. Let me know that down in the comments below, but now let's get to the rest of the list. Coming in as the runner-up on this week's list at number 2 is Innovative Industrial Properties, stock ticker IIPR. This is now the 4th time I mentioned this stock right here on the channel, and if you go all the way back to the very first time I spoke about it on June 23rd of 2023, IIPR has outperformed the S&P 500, so let's look at the numbers behind this stock. IIPR is a quarterly payer in the real estate sector, paying $7.60 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 5.63%. IIPR has been paying and growing their dividend over the last 7 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 12.69%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 33.21%, and a payout ratio of 92.5%, but keep in mind that this is a REIT. Now, at the time of recording, Innovative Industrial Properties was trading 2.24% off of its 52-week high. It has an ex-dividend date of September 30th with a payout date of October 15th. And looking at this chart, over the past 7.81 years, IIPR would have turned a $10,000 investment into $99,177.18, which outperformed the S&P 500 by $69,528.41. Now, after hearing about that last stock, you might be wondering, what the heck is better than that? Well, let me introduce you to number 1 on this week's list, Monolithic Power Systems, stock ticker MPWR. This is now the 5th time I brought this stock up right here in the channel, and if you go all the way back to the very first time I brought this up on June 23rd of 2022, MPWR has outperformed the S&P 500 by more than double. So let's look at the numbers behind this beast. MPWR is a quarterly payer in the technology sector, paying $5 per share per year with a forward dividend yield of 0.56%. MPWR has been paying and growing their dividend over the past 7 years. They have a 3-year dividend growth rate of 26.94%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 26.31%, and a payout ratio of just 28.75%. Now, at the time of recording, Monolithic Power Systems was trading 7.12% off of their 52-week high. They have an ex-dividend date of September 30th with a payout date of October 15th. And looking at this chart, over the past 10 years, MPWR would have turned a $10,000 investment into $219,694.77, which outperforms the S&P 500 by a measly $185,617.30. With that being said, if you made it here to the end of the video, but you're watching it on or after September 30th of 2024, it would be in your best interest to make sure you're subscribed.
Why do you say that?
This is simply because some of the ex-dividend dates I mentioned might have already passed, which means you just missed out on those dividends.
Son of a...
Now, of course, that's not the end of the world, but all these stocks are quarterly payers, which means you need to wait 3 long months before you get your next dividend. So don't let that tragedy happen to you.
It's a tragedy, a real tragedy.
Before you go, don't forget to use that comment section down below to let me know what you guys thought of this week's list. And if you guys want to see more content just like this, make sure you check out this video. But until next time, see ya.